Hey everyone, Donald here. Thanks for checking out this video on my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I decided to do an MBA, which is a Master's in Business Administration program. Now, there's a number of reasons why most other people would want to pursue an MBA. Kind of the most popular ones are, if they wanted to pursue a career in investment banking, iBanking, and or management consulting. Because the fact is, many of the largest firms in the world in iBanking and management consulting actually go to the top tier schools, the MBA business schools, to recruit the cream of the crop, right? The smartest people in the industry, basically, right? And so I would say that if that was the path that you wanted to go down, then you probably want to go to an Ivy League school, one of the top tier schools that has a reputation not only for recruitment in those particular industries, but also too they have a cohort, a really strong alumni of networks connected to these firms. So then if you were to go down that path, you can always network with alumni. And if you, for instance, you wanted to go work for a specific firm, such as Goldman Sachs, for instance, or BlackRock, and you see that, if you're going down the investment banking route and you're going through the interview process, and you find that one of the partners that you have to connect with as part of your interview process had gone to your school, then you have a connection, right? And so there's that, and so that's why typically if you want to get into those top tier kind of careers in business that command high salaries and bonuses, then an ABA is a really good way to go if your undergrad didn't allow you to get into those firms with just your undergrad. But now I want to talk about the reasons why I had decided to do an MBA. So I actually did an MBA here in Vancouver, BC at Simon Fraser University, SFU. It was a tech-driven MBA. It's consistently ranked one of the top comprehensive schools in the country. And so, yeah, it was a great experience all around. It was very transformative for me. I learned a ton, and it really pushed myself outside my comfort zone, right? So in this video, I want to talk about the 12 main reasons why I had decided to do an MBA. So the first reason why I decided to do an MBA was I wanted to change my career path, the industry that I was in. So I finished my first degree in molecular biology and biochemistry, so I was in sciences. And I actually worked as a research scientist for many, many years in biotech companies as well as pharmaceutical drug research companies. And I knew that in order to kind of move outside of that industry, I had to make a substantial change, either in my education and or make a pivot finding a job in outside of sciences, right? And so I was really pigeonholed in that industry. So pursuing an MBA enabled me to kind of venture out, connect with others in other industries, and made that jump. Pharmaceutical research, drug research, and or biotechnology is a great career especially if you want to have, a career where you come up with experiments, you analyze the data, you iterate and improve your research. And, I'm very, very passionate and I love sciences. It's one of those things that I felt that I was good at. All throughout high school, I would always take chemistry, physics, biology, math, calculus, and I did quite well in them, and so I do have a love for sciences. However, for a career path, I felt that I had gone as far as I could with my particular degree. That leads me to point number 2. The second reason why I decided to do an MBA was that I felt that I had gone as far as I could with my Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry. I felt that in order to move up the ranks, so typically in a biotechnology company, the bachelor level is distinct from those that have a master's degree and those that have a PhD degree. So in order to move up the ranks, I essentially had to go up to the highest level, which I had achieved over the years. And so I was a research associate level 1, 2, and 3. And the next level would be, an associate director, a director role, a manager position. Typically those with a master's degree have those type of positions. I would say the director side and even higher, the VP and the COOs, the chief exec positions, are typically held by those that finish a PhD. So to give you guys context in the science world, to do a master's degree is an extra 2 to 3 years, depending on the school, depending on the program. In addition to the 4 years of bachelor's degree, a PhD is another at least 5 years of research and studies. And then you typically want to do another year or two of postdoc. So there's quite a significant amount of studying to do. And so, yeah, I think that, I had kind of gotten to the peak level as high as I could within the company I was at with a Bachelor of Science degree. And so I wanted to make that transition to keep moving up within a company and not be held down by the degree that I had. The next reason why I decided to do MBA was that I always knew that I wanted to pursue further studies, further than just a bachelor's degree. I come from a family that really valued education, and so I knew that master's, at least doing a master's, was the direction I wanted to go into. And I had done a pre-MBA program called the Graduate Diploma in Business Administration program at SFU, and I actually did really, really well. I had almost straight A's, and I knew that that was my calling. I knew that I really, really enjoyed studying business. I really, really did. And I knew that I would do quite well in the MBA program because doing that pre-MBA program, it really enabled me to understand that A, I was passionate about the material and the courses, and number two, I did quite well in them, right? And so that's the direction that I wanted to pursue. Prior to doing the MBA, I actually did a small stint in potentially doing a CPA, which is a Chartered Professional Accountant designation, and the path for that would be, work at a public accounting firm, one of the top 3-4 firms, and then, work my way up into a director of finance position, maybe a CFO. But it definitely didn't really interest me all that much, and so that's why I decided I need to go full on in with business. The next reason, it kind of aligns with what I had alluded to in my previous points, is that I was really pigeonholed in the world of sciences, and doing that MBA really was my ticket to get outside of the science world. And so after finishing the pre-MBA program, I actually got a market research analyst role, still in biotech. So I was analyzing the medical device markets, and fast forward, while I was doing my MBA, I still worked full time because I didn't want to lose out on the income when going to school. And so I was fortunate enough to find a program that enabled me to work full time and still do my MBA. And I took on a role where I knew that I wanted to build on a skill that I was not strong in at the time. I was okay, but I wasn't at the level as I am now, and which is in sales. I think that if you know sales and even marketing to that extent, it can really take you very far in your career path. And if you ever want to start a company, you need to know how to do sales. You need to know how to do marketing, right? And so, yeah, I took a huge pay cut. I did pharmaceutical biotechnology sales. I became the top producer, top seller, salesperson. And I got to the point where I had aligned with my mentor during my MBA program, who was a VP of sales at a large enterprise software company, and I got in touch through my connection to a startup tech company, and there I got hired in sales and business development, and worked directly under the VP of sales as well as the chief marketing officer. So it was just really great experience all around, and I was able to make that transition from biotech to tech, which is awesome, right? And so yeah, I was able to kind of move outside of the pigeonholed science realm that I was kind of cornered in because of just because of my background and my education leading up to the point, right? So next reason why I decided to do an MBA is that the opportunity is really endless. You can, pursue a career in iBanking, investment banking, management consulting. You can get an operations management role. You become a director of a company. Because you're exposed to many facets of business, from financial accounting to manager accounting, corporate finance, economics, operations, leadership, HR. Because you have such a strong depth of knowledge of business, you can really take on many business roles and higher positions. And so really the opportunities are endless, and depends on really how bad do you really want to get to reach your goals, right? And so, yeah, I felt really strongly that doing that MBA was the ticket for me to kind of keep pushing forward and taking my career to the next level. Another reason is actually the income potential is great as well, right? And so, when you move up to, from a worker level to a management level, pay your pay grade goes up significantly, and also, yeah, depending on the role, then you typically will command a higher salary. And maybe in a future video I'll talk about kind of what are the general increases in pay when you finish an MBA. But I think especially if you go down the entrepreneurship route, which I decided to do eventually, your income is really endless actually, right? So that was a major reason for me to do an MBA for sure. Next reason is that I'm a huge proponent of personal growth and personal development, and I get immense pleasure by setting goals for myself and working hard to attain it. I love the journey. I love just pushing myself outside of my comfort zone and continuing to grow. And it's that progress that brings me happiness, right? And so definitely doing this MBA enabled me to kind of feel that progression in terms of personal development, and even something simple as learning how to speed read. I remember prior to pursuing an MBA, I knew that I was going to be bombarded with a lot of reading material in such a short period of time, and I'll have to learn how to digest information and analyze and come up with an executive summary, actionable items based on my vast amount of reading that I had to do. And so I remember reading some speed reading books, which were really, really helpful. And yeah, I got really, really good at, reading a ton of material and making, sense of it. And it also came in handy when I had to do exams and case studies. You have to read a ton of material and synthesize reasonings and action items, action plans, and analysis. And it was just a really good skill to have regardless, right? And so in addition to that, yeah, just also networking, public speaking, presentations is something that I wasn't strong in before, but I definitely worked on it, and we had a ton of experience doing it while doing an MBA program. So it's just a really good experience all around in terms of personal development for sure. The next reason is that, the alumni, the network, the connections that you have. Most schools will actually have, several meetings throughout the year to connect the alumni, and also to connect with future prospective students, right? To share our stories and our successes as well, right? And so, yeah, it's just really, really great experience in that, I can recall also too, as I was building my book of business for my company that I started, the digital marketing agency, I actually got reached out by several of my classmates to, do some work with them, right? And so from a marketing perspective, so, it's just really great, network experience. So I did a tech-driven MBA, as mentioned, and near the end of the program, our cohort actually went out to Silicon Valley and connected with, a lot of the tech firms. And yeah, I got a sense of how, the big companies treated their employees, and, how they set up their office. And yeah, I learned a lot about how that structure all worked. And I always kind of had at the back of my mind, if I were to start my own company, I can kind of mimic the best practices, right? And so, yeah, it was just a really good experience all around for sure. And the people that I met throughout that process was invaluable for sure. The next reason is that the breadth of knowledge that you get from a business perspective is so invaluable. So as mentioned, you learn everything from financial accounting, management accounting, economics, leadership, operations, HR. And so a lot of foundational pieces I was able to utilize towards, my own company. And so like when I hire, I have a good sense of, the structure of how people are motivated when they want to when they want to join a company. Even understanding the basics of marketing, market research, all incredibly important. I would say one of the most important factors that that I actually learned throughout the MBA program was actually the accounting side. And so just understanding how to read and analyze financial statements gave me a huge leg up in terms of really understanding our financials and figuring out ways to continually grow and scale the profits within the company. And so, yeah, just understanding how to read balance sheets, income statements, all the financial ratios to really understand the health of the business. Really, really important stuff, right? And so, but yeah, if you wanted to really understand also too, like operations, for instance, when we analyzed different companies of how some were having roadblocks, and there were bottlenecks within the company, and try to quickly identify the source of the bottlenecks and what are the action items to leave those. Really invaluable like knowledge to have, right? And so, yeah, just all around really good business experience and knowledge that I gained from my MBA program for sure. The next reason is that, yeah, similar to aligning with personal development, I really like challenging myself. I really like stepping outside my comfort zone. Presentation skills was definitely not my strength, but it's something that I really worked towards and worked on, and I have to present all the time as the CEO of my company, and either to prospective new clients, customers, to our clients, and even pitching to potential staff, employees, right? And so, yeah, it's just being able to step outside from my comfort zone was really, really important for me to do, and I definitely achieved that in the MBA program for sure. Next is that I have an entrepreneurship spirit. I knew that eventually I would start my own company. In what I didn't know exactly, but I knew that going down the journey of pursuing MBA was part of my story, part of my journey to eventually get to where I'm at now. I had moved from a market analyst position to a sales position to a sales and marketing position, and then I got recruited after finishing my MBA to a tech startup, and I was the VP of sales and marketing there, and really built out their whole sales and marketing programs and team there. And yeah, just really good experience. And from that point on, the next step for me was to start my own company. So I started my own digital marketing agency, and it was just part of the whole entrepreneurship journey to get to where I'm at today. And yeah, definitely it was really invaluable things that I learned, and just the grit also, being able to manage my time effectively, to manage full-time work while studying, to do my MBA, and really focus on the things that need to get done in order to excel and do the best of everything that I do, right? And so, and the last reason, and perhaps one of the most important reasons of me doing an MBA, was that once I finish it, nobody can take it away from me. It's always yours. Those 3 letters will always stay with me, no matter what. So it was a huge achievement to do. Of course, there's many people doing MBAs these days, but it's still unique to do because it's not easy to go through, right? And I actually supplemented my MBA with a PMP designation, a project management professional designation. And yeah, it's just really good experience all around. So now I have a BSc, MBA, and PMP, and that's the reason why I have those 3 acronyms beside my name. And and so, but as mentioned, yeah, doing an MBA, nobody can take that away from me anymore, right? And so no matter what I have going on, I'll always have MBA beside my name, which is pretty awesome because it denotes the fact that I had put myself through the rigors of intense schooling, a master's program in business, while for myself working full time and excelling in all areas. And so with that said, yeah, hopefully you guys get some value out of this video. Those are the main reasons why I decided to do an MBA. And yeah, let me know in the comments whether if you're thinking about doing an MBA, and maybe also talk about reasons why you want to do an MBA. Put in the comments below, definitely. And thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, take care everybody. Bye now.